Hi guys, Justin with Duraclutch here. Today we're going to do an install video on the Duraclutch kit of the new Ranger 1000 XP. So we're just going to do a quick run through here on what tools are needed and exactly what's going to come in the kit with the Duraclutch. Couple of first things is going to be a large impact for taking the clutches on and off, and a smaller impact for doing like the cover and a couple other things. You will need a 15mm socket to pull the secondary off. It's going to come with, the kit itself is going to come with a T60, and this is what pulls off the stock primary bolt. The kit is also going to come with a hex head, and that's what's going to pull off or put on the Duraclutch primary bolt. You will need some blue Loctite. A magnet is not required, but it's going to make it a lot easier. A flathead screwdriver, a primary clutch puller, and this is the one that is provided in the kit. And we recommend that you do not use any puller other than the one that comes in the kit, just because this one's been modified to work specifically with the Duraclutch and the P90X primary clutch. You will also need, well, a 5/16 and or 8mm to pull the cover bolts off with this flex shaft. The other contents here that come with the kit is going to be a 35024 belt, some install decals that will come with it. This is the new bolt for the primary clutch. It's going to come with the actual Duraclutch primary itself, and then some shims here that will be used on the secondary clutch. Just a couple preliminary things before we get started. I want to make sure that we pull the key out, and that's just going to be for safety reasons. And then after that, make sure that we wash up the machine if necessary or if possible, just to create a little bit easier and cleaner work environment. Okay, so now we're on to the actual install of the kit. The first thing that we're going to do after we've cleaned it up a little bit here is we're going to remove this vent just to make things a little bit easier. There's a hose clamp right here that we've loosened up, and then there's another one up here on the throttle body that we've loosened up. So we're going to go ahead and take this off. The next thing is going to be the cover on this air box we're going to pull. You can see here there's these little clips that hold it on. We're going to go ahead and pull them off, and there's actually 5 that hold it on. I'm taking a few off just to make it easier. And then this lifts straight up. And these teeth here are what actually go down and hold it in. The next thing is going to be to take this cover off to access the clutches, and there's 9 bolts that go around that hold it in. And they're actually in an aluminum housing, so you want to kind of take it easy on them. So unlike the plastic ones, these ones can cross thread or strip if they're pulled out too hard or put back in at an angle. So I've taken a few off just to make it a little bit faster here in the video for you, but there's a couple left on the top that we'll get off. And this is where having this shaft makes it a lot easier, because a lot of these bolts run on the back side, and then on the bottom there's 2 or 3 along the bottom, which this makes it a little bit easier to get in there. So now that the cover's loose, we're going to go ahead and pop it off. Once it pulls off like that, it's going to go straight up. Then you're going to go ahead and pull it down. And it's going to come down just like that, and then lift out of there. So this tool is one extra tool that wasn't mentioned earlier that's provided in the kit that comes in the glove box in the machine. And this is just a threaded L. This is what we recommend to use. And this threads right into the secondary clutch like this. And this is what's going to actually push on that cam and open up the secondary clutch in order to be able to get the belt off. Once you got it loose, you can go ahead and push up on the belt down here on the bottom. And then you'll be able to run the belt out just like that. Okay, so now that the belt is off, we can go ahead and take this tool back out, and it's just going to thread right back out how we put it on. Okay, so once that's off, we can work on the primary clutch. This is where that T60 is going to get used to pull this bolt out. Once that bolt is off, you're going to want to go ahead and hold the middle here with your thumb There's a bushing and a couple other things in there that could fall out otherwise. We're just going to grab the outside of this and pull the front half off. Okay, so once you get the front half off, there's a cup here on the back side. You want to take that off, slide that right back on the shaft. This is when we're going to use the clutch puller. Start it by hand, and then we'll use the impact here to take it off. That will give you the back half. So once that's off, you're ready to install the new primary. And that's going to go ahead and just sit right in there on the shaft. And then you're not going to use any of the old hardware. You're going to use this new bolt with the washer here that's provided with the kit. And we'll start that by hand. And use this hex that's provided with the kit. And then you're going to want to, when you're all done, you're going to want to use either like a handle from a rubber hammer or something that can run through here and stop it, and you're going to want to use your torque wrench and go down to 60 foot-pounds on the primary clutch. Okay, so then we'll go ahead and use the 15 millimeter to take off the secondary clutch. Now you're not actually going to have to take the clutch all the way off. You're just going to go ahead and take the bolt out, and there's shims in here behind this, so you're going to want to hold your hand down here just for shims that fall out. Just like that. So this one has the bolt with the washer, and then there's several shims that come behind it. Now this one's got 5 or 6 in there. That's going to vary depending on the machine. Then all you're going to do is add the 3 washers that come with the kit to the stack there, and that's to align the primary with the secondary. You're going to stick those back in there. Then you're going to thread the bolt back in with the washer, making sure that all these are in the slot like they're supposed to be. And the torque spec on this is going to be 38 foot-pounds. Once you've done that, you're ready to reinstall the belt. So we're going to put the clutch tool back in. And this is where you're going to install the belt that comes with the kit, which is the 35024, and you just want to install it so you can read the numbers. That just makes it a little bit easier to remember for install on the second time if you ever have to take it off. Go just like that. We'll lift up on the bottom here to make sure it doesn't get caught on the cover. Then you can go ahead and spin this tool back out. You can spin this just enough to catch it. And then you can spin it backwards like that, and that's just going to set the belt tension. So after you've done that, the kit is installed, and we're going to go ahead and start the machine up and do that to be able to check alignment. And to do it, we're going to have it in park and have our foot on the brake, and then we're just going to give it a little bit of gas to set the belt. So after we've done that and we checked that the machine is easy to shift and that everything is aligned there, torque down to spec, we're ready to go ahead and put the cover back on, put the vent back together, put the air box back on, and then we're ready to go. We'll start by taking the cover here. It's going to go back on similar to how it came off. Put the top up first like that. And the bottom will fall into place. Then this has a gasket that runs all the way around it on the inside, a rubber gasket that's on there, a foam gasket on the cover. So we're just going to want to feel around and make sure that that gasket's all the way in the cover the way it's supposed to be. And then this is going to go ahead and lock into place on here. Then you're ready to go ahead and start reinstalling the cover screws. The easiest way to make sure that it's all going to be in place is to put a couple in the front and a couple in the back. And since you're going into an aluminum back here, we're going to want to make sure and start all the cover bolts by hand to make sure that we're not going to strip anything or cross thread something. Once those are started, we can go ahead and snug them up. You're not going to want to go too tight, you're just going to want to go until they bottom out basically, or stop on the aluminum housing. And then a couple of them on the bottom, a little bit trickier to get to, and that's where the magnet really comes in handy. So you can go ahead and use the magnet just like this. Start them down there in the plastic. Then slide the magnet off so they stay in there. Then go ahead and start them by hand just to make sure that you're not cross-threading anything, so that you don't round off any of those bolt heads, which is going to go on and slide down just like how it came off. Okay, so once those are all on, we can go ahead and flip this back down. And we'll slide this end on. Go ahead and tighten up these clamps. You can use a screwdriver or a 5/16 nut driver is the right size, and that works pretty well too. Once those are tightened up, there's a couple decals that come with. One goes on the clutch cover and one goes on the dash. That's so that if any tech or service person ever works on it, they know that the stock clutch has been removed and that there's a Duraclutch put on. So that is the complete install of the Duraclutch kit on the new Ranger XP 1000. If you have any questions regarding install or anything else on the products, you can go on our website and email us, or go ahead and give us a call. Thanks.